We are at a fork in the road in the crypto markets. Quinton tweeted out this beautiful tweet right here saying, this is either the start of the bear market, a whole year of backwards price action with crypto, or the bull market hasn't even started yet. Let's have a look at these two images. This is the classic psychology of a market cycle faded out behind it, and this is the price, of course, of Bitcoin plotted in black. Now, we could be at the top, about to fall off this massive downhill, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make money if we are in this part of the cycle, and I'm going to show you how to make money because my goal is to make $100 million in this cycle. And I can do that whether the market goes up, down, or sideways. I'm going to show you in this video. The alternative is that we are just getting started, and this really is the super cycle, and this really is an opportunity for myself and for you and for everybody to finally be able to print generational wealth from doing absolutely nothing but buying the right tokens and sitting back and being as lazy as we want to be. Now, there are three options. I gave you two options, which is A, the market's going to absolutely crash, which, I mean, it has absolutely crashed. How much lower can we really go? Of course, there's always room for a little bit more. But I mean, most of the pain is already over. Where the pain's actually going to come in is if we start trending sideways and we just go flat basically forever. That's where people are going to really lose a lot of interest. And honestly, that's when the market's probably going to start to skyrocket back up to C. But we could either be going down, we could be going across, or we could be going flying sky high. I'm going to show you how I personally plan to make millions of dollars regardless of what the market decides to do. Now, what do I do here on this channel? I follow the best traders in the world. People like Alex Becker, people like CryptoGodJohn, people like Elliot Weinman, and about 7 to 8 others who have printed millions of dollars, who have a historic track record of the results that I want in the crypto market. And you can see they've done absolutely insane ROIs on some of their best calls. And we've been around for some of those best calls, like an 80x on Casper, and done really well and made a lot of money in it. I mean, outside crypto, there's no real opportunity to 360x your money unless you're getting really early into something like Tesla. But even then, how do you even get access or no? Now, the downside of riding the highs with the best traders in the world. And a lot of people are like, oh, why do you just copy trade these people? Why don't you make your own decisions? Or why don't you follow other people? It's like, if you're not copy trading the people with the best results historically, who are you copy trading? Who are you taking your information from? Just the people who've got average results or the people who've got the worst results? I mean, for me, it just makes a lot of sense to copy the best people in the industry. If I was trading stocks, I'd probably copy someone like Warren Buffett because he's proven to have an excellent track record. However, I have to be aware, if I'm copy trading the best people in the world, they're not going to be right 100% of the time. And that's what we've felt on this big pullback over the last 3 weeks. And when the best traders in the world are making money, so am I. But when they're losing money, so am I. And have a look at CryptoGodJohn. He says he's round trip a disgusting amount of money with his long-term holdings. Actually, a disgusting amount. He tweeted that out today. And if we're copy trading CryptoGodJohn, we're going to get very similar results. Now, there's 3 possible timelines for this market. There's parallel universes have split and 3 different things have happened. But fortunately, there's a way to get monumentally rich and wealthy in every single one of those universes. If we're in universe A and the bottom falls out again, I don't know, say that another 90% of the market just absolutely disappears and we go 99% down from all-time highs. If you truly think, and there's people in the comments, there's people on Twitter, probably the majority of people think that this is what's going to happen. It's so easy for you to get wealthy. Come over to Kraken and trade Bitcoin using 2 to 4 times leverage. And if you want to go even riskier, you can go way past 2 to 4 times leverage and short Bitcoin, because you can literally print 7 to 8 figures doing that if you believe that this is the end of the bull market. If, however, the market's about to get really boring for 12, 24, 36 months, that's just going to act like one giant stable coin, I highly recommend it. And this is a little bit facetious, but also at the same time, what I would do if I actually believed that was the market, go and start an AI business and get crazy rich, because AI is up and to the right. This is the trend. This is the interest. AI is an absolutely crazy technology. It's just like the internet back in 1995, and there's insane amounts of opportunity there for people to print money. And if you think that crypto is just going to go flat and to the right forever, well, stop watching crypto videos and go create an AI company. If, however, you're like me, and you're like the biggest influencers in the world. This is symbolic. Basically, all the influencers I'm tracking are extremely bullish on 2025 to be in the biggest, most massive super cycle yet. And most likely you are in this column, otherwise you wouldn't still be hanging around watching this video. I'm in this column One, because I don't think I know more than the best traders and the biggest influencers and the biggest insiders as well. People who have the edge and people who know information way before I do. I do not want to try and outtrade them based on my 4 to 5 hours of research on Twitter. And these people aren't just slightly bullish, they're extremely bullish. Have a look at Alex Becker. He says most of those huge 20 to 30x stories and tales of people making 20 to 30 to $50 million plus come from building, buying, holding, and staying active in times like this. Almost every person / project founder that's made big money made their moves in dark, boring periods. And he believes this is one of them. He thinks it's just going to be a phase. Now I want to show you, not just, oh, I'm going to be bullish because these influencers are bullish, but I want to show you 5 reasons why these big influencers are bullish and why I also am bullish on 2025. Well, the first is that it's not a crypto crash. A lot of people think, oh, crypto's over. We should have invested our money elsewhere. But if you look, Cena says here on Twitter, it's not Bitcoin that's crashing. It's the whole market, the whole US economy and somewhat of the world economy. JP Morgan's down 15%. Meta's down 18%. Nvidia down 30%. Tesla down 50% from all-time highs. Even Apple down 25%, Microsoft, Amazon almost 30%, Netflix down 35%, Intel, Disney. You can see these massive companies are all crashing. And Nick says the same thing. This is not a crypto crash, it's a market crash, and gives the same examples. Nvidia, I think, I don't know if we talked about that one in the last one, but they're down 30%. These numbers are really significant for stocks, unlike crypto, where an 18% pullback could happen in a day and a good 300% the next day going up the other direction. He says you need to write it out. And if we have a look at the S&P 500, it's fallen from almost $61.50 all the way down to $5,700. So remember, it is not just a crypto crash. And we talk about the crypto whip here on this channel, where the smaller the market cap of a token, the more volatile it is. And Bitcoin is basically the blue chip crypto that the big investors are getting into that's way less volatile. Bitcoin's only down maybe 20% from all-time highs, where some of the altcoins, the tiny micro caps that we talk about, even though they 100x when Bitcoin 2x's, they crash 90% when Bitcoin drops 20 to 30%, which is what we have seen. What you have to understand is that the S&P 500 leads Bitcoin. There is a strong correlation for the US economy that is dictating the price of Bitcoin. At the moment, the US economy is having a bit of a pullback and therefore feeling the effects down the crypto whip. We can actually see over the last month, the S&P 500 is down 5% and Bitcoin is down 20%. So you can see they are the least volatile, but also the first and biggest movers in terms of market cap of how much they lose. The second reason why these influencers are extremely bullish, and I am too, is because fear is at all-time lows. Immortal says, fear is at the same levels as we saw during COVID-19 crash and the 2022 bottom. All of this while the US just announced a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And you can see these lows, and I'm going to correlate for you in a second, but these were always the best chances for you to buy Bitcoin and crypto at the lowest prices. Quinton says the US officially created a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which is absolutely massive news, and they're intending to buy more Bitcoin to add to that reserve as well. Meanwhile, there is more fear than during the collapse of FTX in the midst of the bear market. You can see here, Jason Yanowitz says, fortunes are made when people get too emotional, showing a fear and greed index of extreme fear at a rating of 12. Now, I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, this feels like what the market is at the moment. And then I looked at the date, I'm like, wow, this is from May 22nd, 2021. Literally months before a massive 2021 bull run. And this is the basically exact same sentiment that we're feeling now. I also came across CoinGlass. They have the fear and greed index plotted against the price of Bitcoin. We don't have to go through it every single video, but literally, if you buy when fear is at high, when fear is high, so when the number is low but fear is high, you get it, greed low, fear high. But when this blue stick is as short as possible, they are always historically been the best times to buy. If you're buying at the tops here when greed is high, you're going to experience these crashes. And what CoinGlass did really well, unlike all other fear and greed indexes, is you can see that they have extreme fear in green instead of red, because historically that is the best opportunity to buy. And you can see we're absolutely hitting those small sticks at the moment down here at a fear and greed index of 20. The third reason, and this might be the biggest reason out of all of them, we're not going to focus on it too much, but a lot of people's theories, Raoul Pal, even House of Crypto, Peter from House of Crypto, talk about the only thing that impacts the price of Bitcoin and therefore follows all the way down the crypto whip to all the microcap tokens where we can hit those 100x's or 360x's in John's case, all follow the global M2 money supply, which is how much money is being printed into the economy, and therefore Bitcoin, I think I've got a, yes, this is exactly what I wanted to say right there. M2 is set to break all-time highs. You can see M2 money supply about to break all-time highs since 2021. Infinite liquidity, all that money out there being printed for free, going around the world, chasing $21 million Bitcoin. Imagine if you had trillions of dollars being printed and only 21 million Bitcoin. It's going to act like a sponge for that liquidity, and what's going to happen, the price has to go up. It's a limited, scarce resource versus an infinite resource. You know what happens next, that he says. And what historically has happened next is we enter the fourth year of the market cycle, which are the yellow boxes. And you can see every single fourth year of this market cycle, we've printed the biggest gains. And it would be strange if this year didn't follow. And this is the first time since Bitcoin's inception that this wasn't the parabolic banana zone. As Raoul Pal says, this is the banana zone zoomed in. That graph basically zoomed in, and you can see we're in 2025, which is the banana zone year, projected to be the banana zone year, highly likely to be the banana zone year. Now, not guaranteed, of course, but this is what people are waiting on. And this is a strong reason why a lot of these influencers think we're going to go crazy. Link says, we're going 10 to 20x up from these prices on average. I bet my entire life and 5 to 6 years worth of research and entire net worth on this moment. I warned you about the nasty correction. Now I'm warning you that life-changing wealth is about to come. You all deserve what is about to happen. Alex Becker says, this matches my bias, therefore I consider it extremely precise and accurate. Now, Becker talks about the asymmetric bet of this, because this is, again, I say it's not guaranteed, but it's a smart bet to make if you agree with these parameters. You have to decide if you agree with these parameters, but if you do, it's obviously a high expected value bet to make. Alex Becker says, if you look at every past cycle, buy, regression, lows, and high maps, every single one points to alt low buy points near the extreme. This is like being in Vegas, but red has 75% odds. He's saying basically we have 75% odds of this being the super cycle. And if it is the super cycle, we go up a 10x on our net worth, so whatever we decide to bet. Sell your liver and go all in if you must, which basically if you pulled up to a roulette game and you could bet on red or black, and there was a 75% chance it was going to be red, and if you did win, you'd win 10 to 1, well, you better sit there and make that bet all day. This is where Becker believes we are. It's where I believe we are, and where you have to make up your own mind if you think that we are here as well. Now, the last reason that I personally think we are here is what's called game theory. Trump signs order to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. You have the USA buying Bitcoin. You have strategy, MicroStrategy buying up Bitcoin. You have big companies buying Bitcoin. You have BlackRock buying Bitcoin and predicting that Bitcoin is going to get to $700,000 a coin. And this is the $11 trillion BlackRock CEO. That's the portfolio of all of these companies where he invests in, worth $11 trillion. They are buying Bitcoin for themselves. They have the Bitcoin ETF, which is the fastest growing ETF in history. You have states, it doesn't say here, but states are buying Bitcoin. You have countries like El Salvador buying Bitcoin. Have a look at this. Texas Senate has passed. Now, it's not fully in yet, but Texas plans to buy up to $500 million of Bitcoin every single year. Why this is so big is because it's game theory. By nation states and big companies and billionaires getting into Bitcoin, it's basically the last person in is going to lose, and it has to be a race to get in before everybody else, which just pushes up the price of Bitcoin, the first ever scarce asset that we ever have. Alan B. Watts actually had a really good tweet about this. He says, I've noticed 3 distinct responses with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. People who don't have Bitcoin or don't have crypto are totally unaware. They don't know what's happened. They couldn't tell you the current Bitcoin price either. Then you have Bitcoin tourists, bummed about the announcement that it didn't instantly pump their bags, anxious the top may already be in this cycle and considering selling their bags. Then you have real Bitcoiners, euphoric, bullish, regardless of short-term price action, knowing the long-term paradigm shift to a Bitcoin standard is well underway. Where do you fit in? Are you panicking? Are you a tourist? Or are you here for the long haul, knowing that everyone who's held Bitcoin has never lost money over 4 years and it's the best performing asset literally in history? Now, a little bit of a personal side note, what I've realized today is that why market sentiment is so low is that we don't have any real big narratives coming up. We just signed the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, and Trump's been in office. There's a lot of tariffs going around, but everything that we're basically waiting on, including the crypto conference at the White House with Trump giving his remarks, is all now happened. And there's no big narratives coming up, and we're big narrative traders here on this channel. And so what we have to look out for is what is the next big narrative that is going to spark the run. The other thing I'll say, and this is looking at something like SPX 6900, it's been basically falling off a cliff, and we haven't had any sort of pump that has been sustained for longer than a day or two. And so people really are losing hope, because every time they try to dollar cost average into this, the bottom falls out even more. But at least for me, because I've been here for over 2 cycles now, I can see that this happens every single time. Have a look at Pepe, that hit a $2 billion market cap, dropped all the way down to a $400 million market cap, which is basically what SPX $6,900 has done to those exact numbers. And then it trended sideways, bored people out before it moved all the way up to that $10 billion range, making people really wealthy. MOG did the same thing, and you can see SPX has also done the same thing. Varad thinks these 7% pullbacks are absolutely massive and beneficial for holders. And so if you are in the same mindset as me, please stay subscribed. Please like this video. I'm going to be putting more and more effort into my YouTube videos over the next couple of months, really digging in when it's the hardest to do so. And so when that market really turns and things start to go parabolic, we can all celebrate and win together. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.